And welcome back to Capital Tonight. So for nearly a decade now, there's been talk of building a casino in the Catskills. But at the moment, the state is actually closer than it has ever been before. Just a month ago, Governor Patterson finalized a land claim deal with the Stockbridge-Munsee tribe, and now the only hurdle left is the federal government. This week, the president of the Stockbridge-Munsees, Kimberly Vale, met with the Interior Department officials to discuss the deal, and she's joining us in the studio today. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. So you're actually en route to Washington.
That's correct.
And what exactly is going to be happening there?
Well, got a meeting scheduled with officials at the Secretary of the Department of Interior to discuss their review after the signing of the agreement and the compact. The following day, a delegation including the vice chair of the tribe and myself and our attorneys made the trip to Washington, delivered the signed settlement agreement finally after so many years, and had our attorneys review with all of the staff that would be in the review process internally to highlight the points of the agreement and to sort of outline what the next steps would be.
Did they give you a timeline, a sense of a timeline, and how long that might take?
No, but there's always been, in this process of negotiation, a clear understanding that this was something that Governor Patterson would like to have completed before he leaves office. So,
well, that's not very long from now.
Right.
That's like 3 weeks, actually.
That's right. So the Department of Interior has known for a long time that time was of the essence, that we wanted to try to get this finished.
Interesting. What was it that made you guys decide finally to settle the land claim and do this deal? I mean, we're talking about a land claim that's 2 decades old, more, 24 years old.
That's correct. When I first started practicing law, in fact, I was general legal counsel for the tribe back in the 80s when we first filed this action.
Oh, wow.
And so I left the tribe and worked in private practice and judged for a number of years, and came back in the political process and discovered that the land claim was still pending.
And just to be clear, for people who are not aware,
Sure.
when we say that the tribe has filed a land claim, we're talking about a tribe that is no longer here, for land that the tribe lived on in the 1700s, arguably.
Oh, 17 and 1800s,
right.
and into the early 19th century. That's correct. This is
Okay.
our Aboriginal home, the upper Hudson River Valley area. Our ancestors, of course, are buried here. And there were a series of land transactions in the 18th century and early 19th century that were in violation of the federal statute, the Non-Intercourse Act, and was essentially the basis of our claims here in New York. Now, this is the claims aren't new. We had some of our political contingencies coming to New York legislature in mid-19th century, attempting to get these claims and these injustices redressed. And it was in the 50s that an action was filed in the Court of Claims, and that was converted to a federal lawsuit in the early 80s.
So what then turned it for you? Because 2 decades is a long time to be battling that fight.
Well, I think the willingness of all parties at all different levels of government to come to the table and say, how can these issues be resolved? And we had to get a little bit creative, because remember, when these were first filed in the early 80s, we didn't have gaming on the horizon. There was no discussion of gaming. And so I think what the tribe originally envisioned in terms of what we would get in a land claim is very different than how this agreement is structured. But it will, in the end, if it's approved and we are able to go forward, we'll still give the tribe the benefits that we were hoping in a different way.
There's actually not everyone's thrilled with this agreement. For one sticking point, for example, that the people who are opposed and who probably have an interest in maintaining their own gambling interests and not getting any competition per se, is that the details of this agreement have not been publicly released. Now, the Governor's Counsel, that's Peter Kiernan, has said the documents will be confidential until the deal is made official by the Department of Interior. But why not release the information so people can get a look at it?
Well, you know, as an attorney and as a judge, I understand that, and as any attorney would, that when you are negotiating agreements that settle litigation, it is not done in the open and subject to public review or public comment. Having said that, though, there's a lot of this process that has been very public. The environmental impact work that's been done has been a result of many public hearings and input. Published notice in the Federal Register, I think, in the draft environmental impact statement, and some of the provisions that we've discussed openly have been public.
But there's a legal challenge to this, is there not?
Legal challenge to the compact?
No, I mean, do you suspect that there will be legal challenges? I mean, would it be too late once it's finalized by the Department of the Interior to sue to try and block the game?
I'm not sure that there's any statute of limitations on suing. And do we anticipate suits? No. No.
Not even from the Oneida or from anyone else who would be? No.
I think that the work that we've done is very complete, very thorough, very comprehensive, and there's a whole lot of people that stand to benefit under the agreement as stands. So I understand that some tribes may have issues, and they do have a right to, protect their self-interest, but I think in the balance, a whole lot more people benefit under this agreement than not.
It is actually, the timeline for it to be built, assuming, let's say, that the Department of the Interior approved it before David Patterson leaves office, which would be before the end of this month, then the timeline for this to be opening its doors would be when?
Well, there are some land transfers that are part of the agreement. Including property that the tribe currently owns in Madison County that we would be transferring to a school district,
right, to
a private enterprise, 1.84 acre parcel that would be transferred to the tribe as a commemorative park, some additional work in the Sullivan County property. So, all of that legal work would have to be completed, and probably updated market studies. So I would foresee, getting busy within the next couple of years.
And the benefit so the opening of the doors when a person could actually place a bet would be
well, it's hard to say, given the things that still need to be done. But this would be a huge step in the right direction.
Okay,
let me put it that way.
So if you were a gambling woman,
yes.
Are you?
I play my share here and there.
When would you bet that this thing is going to be done? Would you bet that it's actually going to happen? Because it seems like there are a lot of hurdles.
Oh, I believe it will. I believe it will happen. We have so much invested in this, and if I didn't believe it would happen, I wouldn't have been pursuing it. So how can you predict a specific time? I don't know, but I know we're going to stay engaged and busy.
Well, I want to thank you very much, Kimberly Vale, for joining us.
Okay.
And travel safe to Washington.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I appreciate that.
My pleasure.
All right. Okay.